Welcome to Fresh Tech Tips. I am Derrell Norris, CEO of Fresh Tech Solutions. Today I have a couple of my boys with me.
Hello, guys. I'm Nicholas with Daniel, founder of Aegis Project Management LLC. How are you doing today?
And I'm Dr. Doug Franklin, CEO and co-founder of Deck Launch LLC. How are you guys doing today?
Doing awesome, Doc.
Hey,
what about
Excellent,
yourself?
excellent. Hey, man. I guess we can share the good news. I'm officially super duper Dr. Doug. I have the degree was conferred on Saturday.
Hey.
So we are there. We are done. We are done.
We are in that thing. I love it. So congrats, Dr. Doug. And this is episode 20. So today's Fresh Tech Tip topic is all about apps. This is the Appisode.
The Appisode.
Yeah, mobile
Very
apps.
punny.
Mobile apps. He came up with that one all by himself. So apps. So do we need to define apps?
Yes.
I think everybody thinks they know what an app is.
Okay, well, don't define it, Nick.
An app is Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if you don't have to define it, but if you want to, you can hit us with some stats. If you got the definition, then let's hit it with that mobile app definition.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely like to give definitions. An app pretty much is a software application designed specifically and especially for small wireless devices. That's something that people may not have known. You might think that what you use on your computer is the same thing as what you use on your phone, and that's not the case. So mobile phones and tablets have specific designs for their applications, and that's what makes them mobile apps. Some facts that he was talking about, reason why mobile apps are so important and why we're talking about it today and why we're in the business of apps, we're really pushing it, especially during this time, is that 82% of internet users use a mobile device, and 35% of consumers use only their mobile device to shop online. 90% of them spend time on their phone, they spend time on their mobile apps. Like 53% of smartphone users buy from company-specific apps. So apps is a huge thing. When you're on your phone, it's like kind of your own territory within that person's phone. I call it your business in the palm of the user's hands.
Yeah, Doc. So what's your take on these mobile apps, man?
So I do have an additional fun fact that we didn't necessarily have just about business. But one of the cool things that came from some Pew research is that 50% of people pick their phone up as the first thing they do every morning. And so you can only imagine what it's like right now, sitting in the coronavirus environment where we've all been sitting at home. So now you're probably talking about 75, 80%, 90% of people, and hopefully I'm not speaking in hyperbole when I'm saying this, but our phones have become our homes for the most part for everything that we have because of some of the restrictions that we've just experienced. And so what better time than the present to be able to have your business but it's good to have your business on a mobile app today. So let's talk a little bit about mobile apps from the app master himself, Derrell Norris.
So yes, I've been waiting for this episode. This is my apps are my baby. Apps are music to my ears. So I just I really have a deep passion about mobile apps and what they can do for a business and for an individual.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we should just jump right into some of these benefits and functionalities. Why do we care so much about these mobile apps? Why have a mobile app? What are those benefits? The first thing that comes to mind when I think of benefits is that brand awareness. That brand awareness that keeps you, in front of your customers. That having that company logo on somebody's home screen. I call it the silent marketer. It's crazy. You have your logo on somebody's phone that they're looking at every day, and it's just unconsciously getting stepped into their brains. So it's a thing about apps that a lot of people don't think of, and I'm really excited about it because all of my apps that I've created are on my phone. So I do look at all of my clients' logos every day, and it if I need something, that's what pops in my head. So,
I mean, think about
you can probably. All right, I was gonna say, I think you can probably draw that Instagram logo on the dirt in some obscure corner of the world, and the kids will know exactly what that logo is. That's how crucial it is.
Yeah, I mean, think about how the DoorDashes, the Grubhubs, the Uber Eats of the world have changed how you think about delivery. Are you really going to call the pizza man, or are you going to look for the app that you're the most comfortable with that's sitting there on the front of your phone? I think you're going with the latter. Yeah,
and especially with this, with our generation getting younger and younger, and our consumers and our buyers are on their devices all the time now. It's getting very crucial to have that app. So some of the things that that we see requested a lot from our clients when they talk about mobile apps. One of the things is appointment setting and scheduling. It always comes up. Some of our clients are, whether they have a mobile detailing company or a carpet cleaning service or a power washing service. All these things are appointments that people book. So on these apps, the customer can download the app. They can book those appointments directly from the app. You can also have that on the back end help out on the business side, because now you have everything, all your appointments scheduled, and you know exactly what you need to do. So those appointment scheduling kind of businesses, they work really great with apps. And I can kind of jump into the loyalty program from there as well, because another thing, like in that same similar kind of business, is a loyalty program. So if you do have a car washing company, and you can have the first 5 car washes, well, after the first 5 car washes, you can get your 6th one for half off. So we can actually implement that into the app, and it'll be like a digital punch card walking around for your business. So it's all about adding that value back to those users of the app. Let's talk about e-commerce.
So the most important thing right now in this place and time is trying to be able to make conversions as quickly as possible. And so just from a hypothetical standpoint, what's the better thing? To get somebody on the phone and then direct them onto the website and then send them an email and possibly send them an invoice, or be able to do it directly from the phone? Directly from the phone is very much the answer. And we've seen that from some of the stats that Nick gave us earlier, that people really do want convenience. And so you may be thinking about it from on your end that, oh man, I could be able to make sales with fewer touches, but like what you're really doing is selling the customer experience. A good friend of mine in the business, Simon Erickson of 7 Investing, once did a video talking about how banks have had to really tighten up their customer service on the website and on the app front, because they were already making people uncomfortable, because sometimes banks are seen as not necessarily being the most honest of institutions. But when you make things easier, it takes away some of the edge and some of the concerns of everything else that you do. And so it's really, really it's imperative that if your business fits an app, that you should consider some type of app format, whatever it may be.
Yeah. So Nick, I know one of my favorite features about apps are these push notifications. So can you talk a little bit about how these push notifications can help some of these businesses out?
Definitely. I mean, I think everybody here, while we're talking about push notifications, just in case people don't know what they are, is that little scroller or ticker that appears on your phone whenever you have an update of any kind from any of the apps on your phone. Sometimes it can be scores, it can be deals, it can be news. It comes out. Now, how many people, even if you're just swiping to move it out of the way, you always interact with that? It's never ignored. Like, and even if you don't do anything, if you look at your phone right now, you probably see a few logos on there of all the push notifications that you've not yet interacted with. So push notifications are a huge way to to engage your customers, to stay in front of them, to say, hey, this is what's going on over here. Have you forgotten about me? Have this going on. Come check out the app. So it's a huge way to communicate with your customers and with your with other clients. So if it's not just customers, maybe people within your organization, spreading information, giving them alerts, anything. Push notifications are one of the most powerful tools that an app provides.
Yes, and I love that, and I'm going to keep on touching on that point. So we've been deep diving, and so we've actually have the ability now to do geofence notifications. So let's say you have a storefront location downtown, for instance, Fresh Tech Solutions. If every time somebody passes by downtown within a certain certain mileage, they get a push notification saying, "Hey, you're next to Fresh Tech Solutions. Come stop by." So with targeted geo notifications can be powerful as well. I know Best Buy does it a lot. Best Buy, their app, they always do a target notification. Every time you pass by a Best Buy store and their app is downloaded, then you're going to get a notification. So same kind of thing with this. Another one of these things that we use with notifications in the Fresh Tech app, we actually record this. We have this podcast. The Fresh Tech Tips podcast is there, and so it's we have an RSS feed that we send into the app, and every time that RSS feed gets updated, it automatically sends out a notification to all the users on the Fresh Tech app saying, "Hey, there's a new Fresh Tech Tips podcast episode available." So we can get really creative with these things, and it's just that other, I think Doug said the second form of communication, that additional form of communication that we really need.
Yeah, one thing about mobile apps the way I look at mobile apps is that make them so powerful is that they do the things that you would do regularly, but on a scale that you possibly couldn't do it. There's no way you could go out and touch everybody who's walking by your store and let them know, hey, interact with them, say, this is my store, this is what's going on. It's impossible. So when you mention something like geolocation notifications, that's mind blowing. This exponentially increases the way you can reach and touch people. You're talking about maybe people just interfacing with your app. How many people are going to actually get in their cars and drive into your store, on a daily basis just to see what kind of sales you have? But with an instant push notification, you can reach all people who have ever come to your store, let them know this is the sale that's going on, and they can at least just browse to see your product. So everything that you're doing with the app, the process becomes more standardized. Like Doug mentioned with the bank, people know what to expect with the process. So there instantly builds more trust, and then the efficiency goes up exponentially.
Okay, so another thing that we do a lot for companies is directories. So there's, whether it's company directories, whether it's just faculty and staff. We have a nonprofit organization. They like to they want to see their board members on there. So it's just kind of like that directory thing. We can also expand that to businesses. We have a lot of Black-owned business portals. So these kind of collections of business, any kind of collection of business directory, we can create an app for that. And that's something that we actually use quite a lot as far as features when we're creating apps. Is people like to see who's out there. This content that is important. Another thing is let's get into this data collection. That's the thing. Any kind of form you can think of, we can put it in an app. Just for more convenience for your clients or your future clients. So this can be anything from just a simple feedback page. This can be a donation page. This can be anything, application, contracts. So there's a lot of data that we can get when implementing these apps. As far as user data as well and analytics.
Yeah, one of the things that we always talk about when we have app clients that come into the Deck Launch office, when they talk about what are the biggest opportunities, data is probably the second thing that I say after fulfilling the pain point, because of the different tangents data can take you on, depending on the scope of your business. Because if you're building an app that's made for a specific target market based on your product or service, now you're drawing in all kinds of interesting data about a specific set of people. And so now you have an idea of what it looks like for your target market. And if you're using this information, at least for your business, what does that mean? That means that you have a better idea of who your target really is. Like what happens if you are really identifying what people look like versus what you think people look like, what people want versus what we think people want. That is the beauty of really being able to track your data and figure out what's going on based on what your app is giving back, is it provides you all of the insights that you generally miss most of the time, because we love our businesses so much and they're our babies, that we don't necessarily always look at the numbers that don't lie to us.
Definitely. So let's talk about what kind of products that we have. Let's talk about these different types of apps. Well, this is as far as Fresh Tech is concerned. We have pretty much 3 different types of apps. Do you want to get into to progressives?
Oh, sure. So a progressive web app is it looks like an app on your phone, but it functions mostly as a website. So this app would not go onto the App Store, but it has a lot of the functions of the app that you may want. So what's the pros? It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be easier to share and access. It's not going to take as much time to build, and then you do have the opportunity to be able to share a cohesive brand. Because even though it's not necessarily something you're pulling off of the Android or Apple Store, you can still set up your progressive web app to where you can put the icon onto onto a home screen. It's just the website though. Yeah. But the cons is that it's not in the App Store, so it's not going to be so you're not going to get the opportunity to be in this place where all of the apps of your same function are. So you're not going to get that optimization of people seeking an app. They're going to have to search on the web, and God knows what's going to happen unless you're handing the app to them in your hand, in your hands. And then of course, if it's a progressive web app and we're telling you that this is basically an entry-level product, the customization is going to be limited, and there's some of those bells and whistles that you may want that you're not going to be able to have with the progressive web app.
Definitely. And a perfect example of that progressive web app is the Houston coronavirus app that we created. And it was originally supposed to be an app on the app stores, but due to a lot of people submitting coronavirus apps into Google and Apple at the time, and they didn't have time to to sort out the information if it was true or not. So they just stopped altogether. If you had anything about coronavirus in your app, they wasn't approving anything. So what we did was we created a progressive web app, and we bought the domain. I think it's what is it? Coronavirus.freshtechsolutions.com. And so you go to that domain, and if you're in your phone, then it pops up and it looks just like an app. Like the browser options go away and everything. So that's the best example that we have for a progressive web app. Another one we have is the Texas Professional Network progressive web app. So I think that the next app I want to go over is our bread and butter. It's what I call the business app. So Doug, should I go into why we created these different products?
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about the importance of why there's levels to this.
Okay, so let's talk about the first thing I did when I wanted to start a mobile app company. I went to google.com and I searched how much does it cost to get a mobile app developed, and I saw numbers that made me happy. So the numbers that I saw, I believe at the time, was anywhere between $70,000 and $200,000 for mobile app development. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot of money, especially for a small business owner who might not have that kind of capital just on hand. And my whole thing when we started Fresh Tech is we wanted to make it available for these small businesses. So we wanted everybody to be able to have an app and compete with the big boys. So even if they didn't have the funding. So what we did was we created these systems that we have, and that we can create these progressive web apps and these business apps without the without the long development time and long cost, which is what really drives up those development costs. But there is limitation with these things. The limitations are that you can't customize everything. Like the system is limited that we have. So we still do full custom apps, and that's the third one we're going to talk about. They like to call it the big boy, and I've just adopted it. But so let's talk about these business apps. These business apps price points are way under their price point, and I think they're affordable for small businesses. They have a price range of anywhere typically under $5,000 to $10,000, and so it's a big jump. And I think it puts it in reach. At least they're able to have the conversation and think about it, rather than dang, I don't want to pay $200,000 for an app. But we have done a lot of business apps, and the pros to those are that cost and that functionality. We can customize certain things, but it's not going to be like, we can't have users profiles doing all kind of crazy things. There are limitations behind these business level apps. Nick, I know these apps are the ones that you're familiar with a lot. Can you speak on some more on these business apps?
Yeah, I'll just add to that. And one of the other things that, just like with the progressive web app, something else you can do here, or maybe even take it further, is your branding. Keep giving that cohesive brand. But now it's more than just your colors and your logos. Now you're starting to give the user an experience that they might maybe get if they were talking to you face to face, or maybe they came in your store. So the feel is starting to become something that you can transfer now with more functionality of these business apps. They don't take as much time as to create as the big boy app, which we're going to get to. But they give you a lot of functionality. Pretty much, most of the functions that you can do for any business, you can do here, at least to a certain level. Which is one more thing that it serves as that we didn't actually talk about yet, is for people who are looking to scale. These apps here can serve as a minimum viable product, meaning that you can use them to show people, hey, this is my app. This is the reason why I want to get this huge app. But on this level, what's the word? This is validation. This is the reason why I think this is going to work with people. These are people who are using the app. They're downloading. It's functioning for them, and you can actually show people proof that your idea or your app is going to work. So then you can maybe gather investment or whatever you need to make the bigger app. The cons, like Derrell said, limited customization. So we find sometimes people want to do things like create user profiles, just give the customer that next level experience that you might get with some of the other apps that you have on your phone, which are probably $500,000, $250,000 apps. And the good thing is that on the one hand, when we create these business apps, it does look and feel kind of like those apps. So it might give you the impression that why can't I do this and why can't I do that? That's a good thing. But on the con on that side is there is limited functionality and limited customization that you can do with the business app.
And I love that segue right into the big boy app. So like you said, most of our clients that want this, what I call the big boy app, it's either some kind of big business that wants to do something extremely custom, or it's some kind of some founder who has a startup idea, which is my favorite, And that's why Deck Launch and Fresh Tech are such good brother companies. Yes, I said brother companies, because because how it works is we get these ideas to come in, and people are like, dang, I can't afford $100,000 app for this idea. I don't have, I'm just working 9 to 5 and I got an idea. So then that's when Deck Launch was created, and when we needed somewhere to send these people that kept coming to us with these ideas. So Doug, take over from there. Like, what happens next?
So the magic that generally ends up happening when we try to build these larger apps is that we go ahead and we break down concepts from soup to nuts. So we start with the idea, making sure that we understand the idea, and then we try to figure out how why people should care. And so that's the pain point. So you may have a good idea, but we need to also know that idea fits a specific target market of need. Even if it's a concept, there has to be something out there that says, hey, we should do this. Then we do things one of two ways, depending on how much validation we need prior. We either develop outright, that's also based on funding, or we recommend some steps to starts with a clickable prototype, which is actually pretty much a PowerPoint on steroids that's on your phone that looks like an app, functions kind of like an app, but it is just simply a set of pictures that move responsively like an app so that people can grasp the idea. Or we can actually take you through this whole process that we just showed you, from the progressive web app to the business app, all the way to the big boy. And so why would you do something like that right now? One of the things that we tend to get with a lot of the people that are interested in investing in our clients is they want to know if these concepts can generate money. And so if there's a way for us to help our clients start to generate money immediately, if the big boy is not the way, we try to find the best opportunity to be able to build an app either through the progressive web app function or from the business app function, because clickable prototypes are cool and they're really helpful because they're responsive and they give people a full vision, probably more than a web responsive app can, but a web responsive app can still generate money. And so that's pretty much what we do when we help people move through the app process.
And so once they do move through that process of validating their idea, and let's say they did get funding, then they can come back to the Fresh Tech Solutions and we can get this big boy app developed. And this can be anything. We tell people we can develop anything that your device can handle. So as long as we're not limited, like, because I know I got some people calling in, hey, can you make my phone smell? No, we can't do smells through technology yet. No, we're not there yet. So if it's something that the device can do already, we can code whatever you can imagine. So that's pretty much the big boy app spiel. I love them because they're always some kind of creative new idea, and just being an entrepreneur, I love seeing people with that fire come in with their ideas and want to see it go through the wireframe process and go through the Deck Launch process and get their ideas validated, and then come back and get that app created, and then they see their vision come to life. I love it. I love it. It's music to my ears.
Yeah, Derrell, what would you say is the biggest thing, like one of the couple of things that you can't get? I know we've kind of mentioned that there are steps. What is one thing that the big boy app like delivers? One of these functions that you can only get on the big boy app. I'm thinking data.
It's so much, man. You can do anything. So yes, data. We can do any kind of social. It depends on the app, man. It's hard. It's a hard question.
I know, right?
It could be a social media app. It could be, some kind of silly game. Hint,
yeah, and that's
soon.
and that's where I was going with it. it really allows you to really like customize that user experience that we talked about down to each specific user in a way that you can't do anywhere else. Like one person can log in and get into their profile, and it becomes like it's their store. Whatever it is that your business is, it becomes just only for them. And that's something that you can't really deliver on any of the other products in any other way that I can think of, except you being in person with them. And even with that, you're limited because now you have technology and you have that experience that you can give the customer. You can do much more, and the convenience, you know, is second to none. So, I mean, the big boy apps is definitely the goal for every business, but I mean, that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Man, this has been lovely, fellas. I love talking about apps. I can talk about apps all day. Actually, I do talk about apps all day.
So you do, don't you?
Pretty much.
So I enjoyed you, fellas. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the episode. This is Fresh Tech Tips. We will see y'all live next Monday at 12 o'clock. Y'all be safe out there.